What's up, gang? This is my mobile test bench that I built and put inside of a DeWalt toolbox, and we're going to use it to test this Donkey Kong Jr. monitor, which is a Sanyo 20EZ. So I'm going to show you guys what I have going on in here, kind of how I got it built so far. It's just kind of in the setup stage. Once I get it all figured out, I'm going to make it permanent in this thing, or one like it. But we're going to go over this and hopefully fix this monitor in the process, and stick around. Should be fun. This is my mobile arcade test bench. It's basically a arcade game in a box minus a board. This really was an invention of necessity for me. I had to, I'm testing monitors at home. I was testing them at work. I didn't want to have to originally I had to test them in the game. So every time I would get done working on one, I would have to pull the chassis out and go and throw it in the game and see how it looked. So this enabled me to just kind of test them wherever I was at. Originally, it was just on a Miss Pac-Man board. It was like this. It came out of the bottom of a Miss Pac-Man. Had two different isolation transformers and stuff. I just took off the stuff that I didn't need and then rearranged it using Bob Roberts had a little wiring diagram on how to wire it. I think he called it a power brick. And so I kind of used that and then rearranged it here. This is different. And I set it up so that I could use it for everything rather than just powering up a game. Let's go a little closer. The light may not be perfect, but so I do have on the side here, it's just a little plug. I want to wire in a regular receptacle or whatever you call it, so that you can just plug in a regular computer power cord instead of this. But I was using these already to wire up monitors or power up monitors that don't need an isolation transformer, like newer monitors. See if I can put a picture in here, a newer monitor. But they have one built on board, so you don't have to have an isolation transformer, like say in the bottom of a game, or one like this. But for testing 19-inch, definitely have to have something like this. But it comes in, there's a power switch on and off. Oh, it's powered on right now, or it's plugged in. And that comes through a fuse, and then a line filter, and then goes around to the transformer. And I also, later on I added the power supply, and then this is a CGA to VGA converter, just in case I need one when I'm out in the field, or if I want to use it, because I also have a monitor that I keep in here too. But then we come to the isolation transformer itself, and then today I always change it. This thing was normally wired straight off of the normal 110, 120, whatever you want to call it, and I switched it where it's coming off of the isolation it is coming off of the isolation transformer either way, but off of the isolated part, like that would go to the monitor normally in an arcade game. So now monitors like the Sanyo that I'm getting ready to plug in, I can just plug it in right here. I don't have to worry about some kind of another adapter. And here's my power going out. I ended up cutting the ground off. It kept coming off and need to rewire it. And what I did for this outside, because obviously this isn't very long and it's not going to plug into every monitor, I have these little adapters like this. First I have extenders, and then this would plug into there, and I get different ones of these. I have 2 or 3 of these that I made. So far I've been able to power up every monitor except for a couple, which I just run just the bare pins that are kind of, and I put a little heat shrink over them so that they're not exposed, and then I just shove them in the connector, and that's how I do that. This isn't really I just put this on here right now. I added this bracket because I'm trying to figure out a way to mount a monitor to this thing. It hasn't proven to be easy yet. I have a full-size one I tried, and it's just too heavy on the lid. It makes it slam shut and makes it want to flip open. The bottom's pretty heavy, but it's just, and it's too thick. And the other thing I want to change is, I got this is super, super thick too. I don't need it this thick. It's also that same thickness in the bottom. So we can come down, about half as much in there, and I can still screw it down. I'd also like it to have handles and be detachable so that I could just lift it out of there if need be. Because what I'm going to do with it right after this, and you'll see, is I have a little cart that I test my monitors on. I'd like to be able to pull this out and slide it in there. But what I'm going to do is just take the little tabs, these little metal things that slide in here, and posts or whatever. I'm going to take those out, and then I'll take this top part off. But I do need to carry this little mirror in here because of adjusting monitors and whatnot. That's not going to be a good spot. I'd like for it to go there if it fit. But give me just a second and I'll show you a couple of the other goodies that I use with this thing so that we can test almost everything in an arcade game, and then we'll go ahead and test that Sanyo with it, and I'll show you how it works. All right, I'll try to explain a little bit better how it functions too. Okay, so this is the power coming in, powers the whole thing. This is the power going out to the monitor. And then, so if I show up and I want to check a game and I turn it on, or they think maybe the monitor's dead, there's no point in me even worrying about the game if I have this with me. I'll just power up the monitor myself, and then I'll use my test pattern generator. This is the Crafty Mac test pattern generator to make sure it gets a signal. It's this guy here, and it also has its own sets of cables to go to all kinds of different monitors. And in my little case in here, I also have a Vga Lcd connector. I use it to test LCDs, but you can use it to test VGA connections. I don't know if you can see that in there. It was like, I don't know, $5 on Wish or $3 or something like that. But these are I don't know, $80 or $90, and then it's another $25 or something for a set of cables. And I think if you get them separately, they're like $40. So add them on and get that. So now we have the game turned on. We have a signal going to it, and we can change the pattern on the monitor, and we can adjust it, which you'll see that's what we'll do to this one over here. And see, you get it. See if you can adjust it in if you need to do more work, or if you're adjusting the work you've already done. Now let's say the monitor is totally dead, or let's say the monitor's totally dead, but we want to see if the rest of the game works or if the board works itself. We can take this thing right here and use it and plug the board in here. I have this guy plugged into the power supply. This is going to be JAMA, and I also have this extra little adapter on here too. This just does power. This little adapter here will tell us what our 5 volts line is, so we'll have our voltages on here. And then these are our control panel buttons, basically. So you have your service test button, up, down, left, right, start, and coin, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. And you can actually have a board plugged in here, and you can actually play the game like this. We did this in a little clip. I'll probably add it at the end of this one too, where we played Moo Mesa kind of with this thing. And what I wanted to do is somehow have this would be unattached. Let's see. I wanted to have this plugged in, back you up a little bit, here, where I could lift this up and then plug my JAMA boards in here. And then, so if I had this thing turned sideways, the board could lay across the table, and I have some kind of spacers or something to stack it up. But yeah, and then you plug this into the board, and then you can test all the different control panel functions and whatnot. Which that thing's really handy. This was from Riddled TV, and it works great so far. I haven't had any problems. So those are two other goodies I have. This is a TFT LCD. I got this on Marketplace for like 20 bucks. And you can find these. This is a pretty good version. You can hook cable TV up to it, a DVD player. It's got VGA in. It's pretty nice actually for what it is. It came with a little stand which I used to mount in here and then slide this on there, and it just won't shut right inside of there. So I think this is the monitor I'm actually going to use and mount in here so that I can have more crap in here. Because basically the way I look at this is if you took Inspector Gadget, made him an arcade tech, and then crammed him into a little tiny toolbox, like how much cool crap could I get in here? How much cool stuff can I do with this? But so we can also use the converter to test with LCDs like this, so we can test boards and the rest of the game or whatnot and see if, because we don't have to use this, we could just use that, the 5 volts to that, and to power up this little LCD and see if the game works, if the board works. And like I said, we did that with Moo Mesa the other day. It was pretty handy. And then the last thing I want to add, which I know there's probably a million of you screaming and I can hear you, is the Raspberry Pi. I'm not sure, like I said, this is all a work in progress, so everything's going to kind of be rearranged. But I want a Raspberry Pi in here, and I'll probably have a 60-in-1 board in here as well. But I have the extra outlet, which I usually have a 3-pronger on there so that I can plug 3 things in. This has got, the spots for, I already have little controllers, like Super Nintendo style controllers that I've been using. But I want to use, I want to build like a little mini control panel that kind of has the joysticks like the old bar top play choice. Just like a little one that you could clip on here, maybe a second player you could clip on over there. Like I said, maybe we're going to have to go to the next size box bigger than this. We're starting to add a whole lot of crap to it. And we don't need this, but it just seems like if I have all of this other, all these other parts of the arcade game, I should be able to play an arcade game on it without anything, right? But let's, I wanted to set up and play the Raspberry Pi on here, but I think it's just going to take too much time. I won't be able to get this video up today, but we'll do that another day. And but let's go ahead and set this up and set the Sanyo up and see what's wrong with it. If anything, it might just need to be adjusted. The customer told me that it was just really dark and he couldn't get it to brighten up. So could be the contrast and the brightness in between the flyback and the control board. Let's check it out and be right back. We are all set up and ready to test. I have the power plugged into the isolated outlet there. We have power to the test rig, and then our video signal is going to come from the TPG. And I'll show you how I have this set up. Let's see if we can get this light a little closer. Kind of helps, not really. Okay, what we're going to have it on is standard, which is this bottom switch here. Let me hold this. Your standard is to the left and medium is to the right. I have the red, green, blue, and ground here. Also, this is a ground, and I have it on negative horizontal. I think that's how I have it set up when I test these. I can't remember, but the reason I have these two separated without being together on a plug is so that I can swap them around on the fly if need be. So let's go ahead and get you set up where you can see the picture. We'll dim the lights. I want you to be able to see what I'm adjusting and what it looks like on there. It should help. Get the overhead. I'm going to go ahead and turn signal on. Kill the overhead light. This is still kind of in our way. Let's see if I can raise it up. Maybe if it goes up a little better. Okay. All right, fire in the hole. We have high voltage. See if we see anything. I see nothing. We do have net glow. See if we can turn the fly back up. Oh, where's my little screwdriver? Of course, I set it down. The one thing I knew for sure I would need. Definitely gonna need this. Let's go ahead and hide it from yourself. So you have two controls for brightness. You have one on the flyback and you have one on the control board, which is just to the left over here. Okay. Looks like our sync is off. It does look really dim. Oh. That's the brightness. Thought it was the second one. That ain't it. We may not have a signal going to it at all. Maybe I killed the battery. That hula there would be a B+ issue. These controls are doing nothing except for the hold. No brightness control whatsoever. So what I want to do is check the battery in my TPG, because if I left it on, then we're not putting a signal out here. Focus works. The flyback turns up and down, but it's not very bright like he's saying. Oh, here we go. Let's see what this says. I don't have a flashlight, damn it. This one's brightness. It is a no-go. So I would suspect that possibly this pot is out. Need to check the B+. Probably change some pots. Probably a cap kit. But that's how I test the monitors. I am going to go ahead and film the rest of this and how these results come out. But I'm going to put this video out of how the mobile test bench works and how I use it. And then, like I was saying, I'll put the clip of me and Darren testing out Cowboys of Moo Mesa. That was actually supposed to be part of this video, and I put it at the end of the last one on accident. But thanks for watching. Go ahead and watch that clip. Subscribe. We'll have more of this one coming up, and then we'll have... turn this off while there's nothing going on. We'll continue on the Kangaroo. Got another episode coming up. Thanks for watching.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
Here's Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Got it hooked up to the test rig. Derek, you can buy this for $4.3 million, I think. We might come as low as 3.5 if you tell us some good stories. See how okay, is that it? All right. trying to play with the little output board. It's the writing on it needs to be in a different color so you can kind of see what it says. I don't have it memorized yet anyway. All right, here we go. Now I can fight. Has he got a jump button? Okay. Shoot, jump. Shoot, jump. Oh, shoot, jump.
I think it was.
Sorry. Here, you play it. I'll film.
I figured it out a minute ago.
Down, down.
No, it was like two random. Or
We need a control panel, I suppose.
I did it. I did it every time before this time.
It says down, down, shot, jump. Which would be these two.
There it goes.
There we go. Left-handed, even. Check me out. Go back this way. Yeah. This game's kind of rare, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I got flattened.
I just think because it came out so late. Because I think it came out in like 93 or 94.
As we were phasing out. Well, I wouldn't say we were phasing out of arcade games, really. We were phasing out of cartoons. Definitely need a speaker on here, which I hadn't thought of yet. That's got to be done.
Yeah, I wonder if the sound.
I don't think I've ever done a video on this thing.
I'm worried.
I'll do that after this.
The soundboard is what I'm scared of on this game.
Yeah, it's got the little guys.
Yeah, but none of them are flaking, which I think when they flake is when they're usually bad, right?
Well, usually bulging, but you can scratch that paint off and actually change them solder. I think they're surface mount soldered, but yeah, you can take them off and then solder new ones back on. Thing is we just don't know a whole lot of people that know how to surface mount solder. I do know a guy, like, he's happened to be right in this room. It's not that hard. It's just like any kind of soldering. It's intimidating, and then once you start doing it, you're like, oh my god, this is easy. And then everybody thinks you're a genius. And
yeah, because you can
this
solder.
with this, it's you just shoot it with a hot air gun. You're like blow drying your hair. You have to be
having a hot air gun.
If you could use too much flux, and you can just float all your parts right off the board if you don't know what you're doing, I guess.
I need one of these.
It's at the
desolder.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I only use it for flybacks.
Really?
Yeah.
That Weller right there is actually the one that I got.
That's the Home Depot travel one I got.
Yeah. It'll work.
It works fine.
So you turn it up to 4 and
I have this. This is the FX888 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I also have the Weller like equivalent digital, and I like this one better. But either one, they're both kind of the same to me. I mean, I don't really. As long as I have the right tip and the right temperature, I'm okay. Now, if I had a really shitty iron and stuff, I probably would be upset with it.
It was going so well the other day. So well.
I guess I'll do a video on my tools since I haven't done that. I have just a really basic hot iron gun, but I figure it's just hot air and like how hard it's going to blow it. So I don't see it as I need to have the $1,200 Hacko one. When, obviously a hairdryer is not going to work, but
right.
I have $100 one. I think is just fine.
Yeah. So the board voltage.
That's handy.
Is it measuring the board output back, or is it measuring from your rig
from here to there?
To there.
So you can make sure you're getting the proper voltage to the board.
Man, I'm glad that
And
works.
you can just adjust it. It just makes it easier if you got the board out. Like I said, I do need to figure out this situation. I kind of want to put the edge connector right here, and then it'll be hidden by the handle. But then when you open up the handle, you can just slide the board in, and have maybe some little blocks of wood or something handy to set boards on for different heights.
Yeah.
And that would put the board out this way, and I could work on it. if I needed to do work on it. But it's pretty handy, especially once that monitor gets mounted, everything's all sealed up. I guess so that's probably why I haven't done a video on it, because it's always been a work in progress for like 2 years. No, it's been like a year. I've had the idea for. So these two right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get here? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is, a nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted, I got what I wanted, and a pretty good deal on it too.
Super hang on. Get what I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
What happened? Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.